Hey Tony, it's Friday, and first off, to answer your question of the week, I have no idea. We haven't really planned Halloween costumes. I don't even know what we're doing for Halloween this year, as in, like, are we going anywhere or what
There's so
have you?
many other things happening this month, honey. I don't think we're gonna do anything, honestly.
Me neither. We have busy things going on, so. Um, so this was a little bit of a draining week, all in all. The past couple days have been a little rough. It's Taylor's not feeling great. I'm not feeling great. Just one of those weeks in which, like, nothing overwhelmingly bad happened this week. It was just exhausting, which kind of makes me think a little bit of what I'm going to call the fallacy of adulthood, in which at what point do you actually become an adult? And I honestly don't have an answer to that question. There are times where I feel like an adult, and times where I feel like just a kid not knowing what I'm doing on this earth. And this week was kind of like a perfect example of both ways of feeling like a kid and feeling like an adult. So feeling like a kid was mostly just like it was pretty a lot of things this week were somewhat overwhelming. Like, we were really busy at work doing a lot of things. I had a really emotionally trying case on Wednesday, which, I mean, turned out well, but it was hard, and that certainly was draining. There was also like a scheduling conflict. I was supposed to be in court yesterday, but but our system ended up putting it for the wrong day. So the actual trial date was supposed to be a week ago and not yesterday, which was just kind of exhausting going through that. And today, this afternoon, felt like the perfect example of the crossroads between adult and child. So earlier today, I got to work and everything was going really well. We put a lot of things together to make to basically push out a bunch of motions that we needed to. But in the same regard, like, I was working on that all morning and doing a good job, but then in the afternoon, it kind of got hit a little harder. So I had one case that was old that I had to parse through that wasn't easy because all of our files were off. It was a file we had gotten from someone else back into, like, the case started in 2008. It's now 2019. The Connecticut judicial website only has 10 years of records available, so I wasn't able to actually look at records. And we only got the case probably a year and a half ago from a previous group. And so that was kind of exhausting of not being able to get anything I needed, which I had to actually just give that to one of my supervising attorneys because it was something I couldn't do on our system, which was a little rough. And then later in the day, there was one thing that really got to me. So one thing that's really important in the legal system are docket numbers. They're your file numbers. That's how the court knows what file is what. And so it's a really important thing that you really can't mess up. Well, two of those motions I did had an incorrect docket number on them. The number itself was correct, but the letters for the judicial district were not. So these two cases were in the same judicial district, but they were in two different courthouses. I generally copy and paste from the Connecticut judicial website. Pardon me, but I must not have there. And so I didn't notice it. My supervising attorney didn't notice it. We didn't notice it until we were trying to file it. And then we couldn't find the file. We weren't able to get it in there because it had one incorrect letter. And so that turned me into like a little mini spiral because that's something that you don't mess up. Like, I'm not the most detail-oriented person, but I'm getting a lot better. And my supervisor attorney says I'm getting a lot better. This is something that I shouldn't miss. And somehow I missed it, even though I usually just I copy and paste from the judicial website, and I must not have in this case because I was trying to push out a large number of them because we were about 150 cases behind. Now we're down to about 30 cases behind because we've just been pushing out a lot of them. And so these ones being from a similar district from one of the cases I had done earlier, judicial district, because think I just kind of mumbled on that, but a judicial district, there we go, from a case previously. So I probably just copy and pasted the number over without copy and pasting the letter. So I ended up staying at work an extra half hour to cover up for some of those mistakes, because we needed to get those in today. Like, we didn't need to, but our goal was to get them in today. And we did, which was good, but we don't know if the court's going to end up accepting them, because I left at about 5:30 or so. 5:30, yeah, about 5:30. I left the office. Hey, tripod. There's a tripod here.
Chai tea latte?
Sure, I'll take a chai tea latte. I'd have my emotional support tripod because she's so cute. Sorry, but it was just it was a rough afternoon. We had a training that was really it wasn't a good training. So we picked up a lot of cases from Toyota. And Toyota is really new. Like, Toyota cases are really new in Connecticut and Massachusetts, but New Jersey and New York have been doing them for 10 years. So they're trying to do a whole brand new system for it to make it easier for New York without really taking a look at what we have to do in Mass and Connecticut. They tried to do a training, but it wasn't particularly clear. And so it was more just kind of challenging, which made me feel like a kid. But now it's like, it's this evening. The thing that's made me feel like an adult lately is how, I suppose, nuclear and low-key Taylor and I's family has been. Because Taylor and I obviously have family plus Justice and our cats. It's like we're really starting to be like adults, going to bed at reasonable hours, usually. It was a little rough this week a couple times, but...
Pan that camera towards my face. Mind this tripod. We went to bed at 1 last night like smart adults, so you really can't say much on that. Also, I got a haircut. Anyway.
Yeah, I think you saw our haircuts from last video, but... Like, generally we go to bed at reasonable hours, we just didn't last night. Because none of us could sleep. It's just the way it went. But it's just been an emotionally draining week. The weekend should be pretty fun, though. We're going up to New Hampshire to visit some friends tomorrow. And then, and then we're apple picking Sunday with one of my best friends from law school. So that should be pretty fun. So, Tony, my question for you is, are there points where you feel like an adult, or do you still just kind of feel like a kid? Tony, I'll see you on Tuesday. Later, bro.